Some of music's most groundbreaking artists in history have publicly eulogized Irish singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor in the wake of news of her passing this week, age 56. Today, we've gathered some of the best tributes to Sinead in recent days that best outline her life, legacy, and the high-stakes activism that defined her career. What's up, y'all? Devon here again for Obligatory, bringing you another weekly roundup of music news for this Friday, July 28, 2023. Happy Utopia Day. If you're listening to the new Travis Scott album, drop your opinions of it down in the comments section. I'll be down there conversing with you. We're also going to be talking about Mitski's new album, some details on that, as well as Activision suing Anthony Fantano. Yeah. But we're going to start with Sinead O'Connor. And let's start with Phoebe Bridgers, because we all fuck with Phoebe Bridgers, right? She shared the song Black Boys on Mopeds to her Instagram story, and it heavily centers itself around the world's view of police and state-sanctioned brutality against civilians. She refers to two instances here, one being the military-led civilian massacre at Tiananmen Square in Beijing, as well as the death of Nicholas Bramble, who was a 21-year-old black man in the UK who crashed and died while evading police, who were erroneously pursuing him under the impression that he had stolen a moped, thus dons the name of the song here. Phoebe's actually performed a cover of this song back in 2020 on a live set she did in studio at the KEXP radio station in Seattle. We got a link down in the description. If you want to watch the specific cover that she does, we got that link. Massive Attack, you may know, the British trip-hop group, made a point that I've seen others make, but maybe not so eloquently as this, when they say, "The fire in her eyes made you understand her activism was a soulful reflex and not a political gesture." And I think that this is really key to her legacy, that there was some really genuine sacrifices that needed to be made for us to talk about her in the way that we are now. They also shared one of what is a few collaborations they have with Sinead, a song entitled What Your Soul Sings, which is quoted in their post here. The song is linked below. Chuck D says rest in beats and power, saying she always brought the noise. She actually wore the iconic Bullseye Public Enemy logo, you know, the figure in the crosshairs on the side of her head, in her first appearance at the Grammys in 1989. If you know anything about the Grammys at that time, they were not yet publicizing the Hip Hop Awards. They weren't even putting the Hip Hop Awards on TV. So this was her way to publicize and platform hip-hop in a space that was actively suppressing it. She was a formidable ally for hip-hop throughout the years and got a lot of respect from different hip-hop artists. One of those people was Ice-T, who, despite now being more known as an actor, was at one point a gangster rapper who was most well known for his controversial societal commentary. These two had a public record of admiration for one another, and upon her passing, he remarked her as just one of the few people who actually stood for something in the music industry. MC Lyte, one of the greatest rappers and one of hip-hop's female pioneers, shared probably my favorite and most touching eulogy to her, saying she wanted me to appear on a remix. It was honestly my first paid appearance as an MC. The record she's referring to is I Want Your Hands on Me, in which MC Lyte got this dope remix verse. She's actually featured side by side with Sinead on the cover art, with her name on the cover art, which is normal now, but again in 1988 just was not the norm by any means. Also, just a few more names here that I love that shared eulogies to her that I thought were cool. Janelle Monae, Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins, Questlove, Perfume Genius, Clipping, Tegan and Sarah, Kelly Lee Owens, even Morrissey, who in most cases should shut the fuck up. Even he had a decent point pointing out the world of difference it has been in people coming out to support her in death more so than they did in life. In a way, he is paying a level of respect to her unwavering, unpopular, and high-stakes artistic activism by just pointing out what is very true, which is that her death has done and will do a lot to further her avatar as a radical figure in music history. When in reality, in the years leading up to her death, she was like the punchline of many jokes. Sinead suffered greatly from tragedy and its effects on her mental well-being, and she's been subject to some of the fiercest criticism and cancel culture music has ever known or seen. Of course, we can't talk about Sinead O'Connor without addressing her most infamous, iconic, and career-defining moment, which took place on Saturday Night Live in 1992. Sinéad tore up a photo of then Pope John Paul II in front of the camera and did so to publicly bring to light the child abuse scandals and subsequent cover-ups by the Roman Catholic Church, which they would not publicly admit to and apologize for until 1999. So this protest was well ahead of its time, and Sinéad received like a vicious blowback societally and in the industry as well. She became a pariah as a result of this. And this is all despite the fact that today we unanimously agree that she was right to say what she said. Patton Oswalt, yes, the actor Patton Oswalt, called this moment one of the most Christian, punk, and moral actions all in the same blazing moment. The key to her legacy is that she had to sacrifice her today for someone else's tomorrow, and she continually did this again and again. She, in a lot of ways, chose to forego the conditional terms of Western femininity, and in a lot of these cases I mentioned, she is actively using her white privilege as leverage to bring awareness to issues, even ones outside of her community, that are actively being ignored, if not outright suppressed. So we want to say a huge rest in peace, rest in power and paradise to Sinead O'Connor. Peace to her family and loved ones. She deserved a lot better, and I hope her freedom from this mortal coil is what makes her free at last. Mitski will return this year, releasing her 6th studio album and her first since 2022's Laurel Hell. Now, Laurel Hell actually came out really early, January 2022, so even though she's releasing it back-to-back years, it's been like a year and a half, really. The announcement came in the form of a video message addressing fans, and since she has revealed numerous details about the album, the track list, the cover art, the release date, as well as the outlook on her career moving forward from this record, Mitski has expressed some discontent with aspects of life as a recording artist. Many people do, it's a job like any other, but she's explained that she is happy to continue releasing albums and has even renegotiated terms with her record label to continue releasing probably a 7th and an 8th album after this. So, Mitski's not going anywhere, and this album, The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We, will be out September 15 via Dead Oceans. She's got a new single out with a video. If you want to listen and watch, then we got that linked in the description below. So this is going to be the weirdest story of the day. Activision is suing Anthony Fantano. Yes, Activision, the video game developer, is suing Anthony Fantano, the online music critic, over a meme, over a TikTok sound. According to Axiom Gaming, Activision is testing the theory that repurposing content on TikTok is fair game and not something it has to pay for. The game developer used audio from a meme that originated from Fantano in a video that they were showcasing a pair of custom Crash Bandicoot sneakers. According to Activision, in their suit filed to California's federal court on Monday, they say Fantano has essentially been trying to get a bag off of them on some slip and fall bullshit. They say he's been hitting them up like, yo, you need to come out of pocket on this. Somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 6 figures. I've had to go at other corporations for the same thing. So to avoid this whole lawsuit I'm about to hit you with, why don't you just go ahead and pay me now? Obviously, they have chosen to not do that. They're taking him to court, basically saying that he's trying to extort them or that he's misusing copyright law to demand money from them. And it seems like the thing that's going to be really pivotal in all of this is that they say Fantano put the song into the commercial library of TikTok, which means it's royalty free, meaning anybody can use it and they don't have to pay Fantano. So now if we get an update in the future, like a settlement or a decision made in the future, we'll let you know. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were set to perform a pair of concerts at Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles, California, but have since announced they are canceling the events in solidarity with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes that are happening simultaneously for actors and writers of TV shows and films. The event was billed as Snoop Dogg and Friends, supported by the Recollective Orchestra and conductor Derek Hoge. It was supposed to celebrate the 30-year anniversary of Doggy Style, which would feature orchestral renditions of Dr. Dre's iconic G-Funk production from the time. Both Snoop and Dre have acted in numerous TV series and films, and Snoop specifically put out a statement on Instagram in a show of solidarity with actors and writers currently on strike, and refunds for the event are currently being issued. Now, I do hope that this comes back in some way, shape, or form, because I personally would love to hear those orchestral renditions of the Doggy Style beats. That's an album that's an all-time favorite of mine. All right, next up, we got another edition of Is This News, where y'all tell me if the story I'm telling you is news. And it's this: r/TaylorSwift has officially dethroned r/Kanye as the most populated subreddit for a singular musician. So r/TaylorSwift currently has over 748,000 Swifties as members subscribed to this subreddit. And actually, someone posted about when they hit the 500,000 mark just 76 days ago. So that shows you what kind of trajectory this community is on right now. And to be honest, this makes sense. Like, Swiftie season has been in full effect as of late, given the Eras tour is currently on the road, bringing every white woman out from every city in America, doing probably ungodly numbers from stadium to stadium. She's also been re-recording and re-releasing to own her beloved catalog with the Taylor's Version series, which in terms of like merch and vinyl, has just been a license to print money. Kanye, on the other hand, we have like for once gotten to shut the fuck up for like a while. And he's still on some bullshit. So I think the general intrigue and fervor for like the prospects of new music from him are dampened at the moment. The quality of his work has declined over time as well. And that doesn't even mean he's not been able to produce a good project here and there. But let's be honest, being a real Kanye head right now is very cringe. And I think it is hit the r/Kanye community quite hard. So it really just comes down to this. If you're a Taylor fan, you are feasting right now on stuff with her. And if you're a Kanye fan, you are doing something else. All right, lastly here we have 2 hip-hop albums of which we're getting small details on and rollouts for. One is Lil Uzi Vert, putting out yet another project. Just recently dropped the Pink Tape, which was long awaited in its own right. Honestly, was met with pretty middling reviews from my perspective from just like the general hip-hop fan base. But after releasing that, they said, you know, if fans got it to the #1 spot on the charts, that they would release the album that y'all were really hoping for, waiting for, or something like that. I hate when artists do this, but it seems now they were specifically referring to the Barter 16 or Barter 16. Right now, we really don't have that much information on the album besides this name, besides the fact that Uzi's been dressing up like Young Thug. We've got like a handful of snippets and a note from Uzi that says the album will be executively produced by London on the Track. The last Lil Uzi album cycle came with 2 projects, and so it makes sense for this one for that to be the trend as well. And then, if you are an Isaiah Rashad fan hoping to hear another album from him sometime soon, you can at least be assured that it is a thought in his mind. It's something that he's populating right now. He may even be working on it. He didn't say that, but we at least got a title because a fan asked him on Instagram, just in a comment, like just straight up what the next album title would be. And he replied, "All My Heroes Are Junkies." Now, many, including this fan, are relating that title to JPEG Mafia's All My Heroes Are Cornballs from 2019. Isaiah is also a huge Outkast fan, so he could very well be referring to Gasoline Dreams from the Stankonia album when Andre 3 Stacks says, "All of my heroes did dope." There's also a graphic novel from 2018 called My Heroes Have Always Been Junkies, which I doubt that has anything to do with this, but if it did, that would be cool. But that's all the stories we have today for this week's weekly roundup of music news. At the end of these videos, we put up this list of albums coming soon that we are tracking the titles and release dates for. All of these have been confirmed by the artist. The ones listed in bold are the ones I'm personally most excited about, and we do have some new additions this week. Of course, the Mitski album coming September 15. Poppy's releasing a new album on October 27. TK Mates has got Sweet Justice coming out November 3rd, and Animal Collective will be back with an album, Isn't It Now, set to be released September 29. Honestly, the whole September month right now looks nuts. It looks like all kinds of great projects are going to be released by really dynamic artists. September, honestly, is usually a pretty great album month, and we're not even really there yet, so more albums are going to get announced here in the coming weeks. Don't forget, if you like this video, if you liked these stories, if I put you up on something that you didn't already know, clicking the like button is a great way to genuinely help me, my team, and our YouTube channel. We do community album review surveys and like lists. Yes, you can review albums and do lists alongside us. We post those surveys every week. We have some down in the description now, and I will definitely be back next week with more news. So until then, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.